Hi, my name is Jerry Brown,
Hi, my name is MB.
and we are going to have fun with the art kit. It is Gallup Arts. Thank you for letting us do this. And let's start with the art kit. So, paint and play with texture. Me and my daughter. And some of the materials that we have in here are a piece of foil, blank canvas. You can start on this side too if you want to. And a paintbrush, plastic knife for texture, and fork. Also, Q-tips, cotton ball. We're doing dabs, and a sponge for making more textures. And these are the primary colors. And 2 cotton balls and 2 Q-tips. Okay. And we have addition to optional. We have pencil, water, and plate, plastic plate. And the foil, you can scrunched up. Yes, I have a thick black material canvas, so I'm going to do the back. So I'm just going to play around with some primary colors. These are red. Look at that. Oh, you can still see the transparency. Let's see. How about this? And scoop out some of the yellow paint. This is how I work at art shows. So green. And usually have a pellet knife or let's see. Now we're going to start mixing colors. And we'll become a little bit brown or purple, depends, and a little bit of green and red. So that will come yellow and come orange. Okay. So I'm going to try. I started with a negative. Well, there's actually some print on it, but negative. So turn into positive. So, and we are going to let that dry. Some of the stuff that, fork, you can make some patterns with it. I usually do this in my booth at art shows or demonstrations. So we're gonna let that dry. And what are you doing, Helen? She is doing the grit and working with black, red, and blue. Okay. We did it long enough, so let's do blue. Either do that or just scoop it out of the little jar and onto your surface. Do paintbrush, sponge oh, did you see that, Helen? The sponge came alive. Wow. Let's make a line. Or you could blend them in. Okay, Q-tip. Let's try to blend it. So that go over on top of my squiggly lines with the fork. So usually I'm gonna flip over because there's no rules to this. So I usually start with, I want to hear the pencil hit the canvas, paper, whatever. Just, that's music to me. That's, you know, they did a lot of cave paintings. They did documentaries on it. Up to this day, they still exist. If you make a mark, you are communicating with everybody. You make another mark, you know, use a knife to make a line. So A to B. I think my knife jumped, so decided to. Okay, let's do that. So another way to do this, I go about it, freestyling, and go with red again. So there is a pattern right here that I made. It represent or showed up itself. So I'm gonna fill in the blank, negative, turn into positive. So there you go. You are communicating. So let's go with blue and then find another pattern right here. So they're sort of like a teardrop. Yeah. Used to watch Bob Ross do his magic on the canvas. Ooh. Happy accidents. There's another one right here. And so within this pattern, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you decide either do the whole thing or pick another one in the middle. So this has to jump somewhere. So I'm gonna pick this one right here. So that is balance. So here. So red needs to jump somewhere too. Oh, hair in there too. Okay. There wants to stay. Okay. Let's go look for another pattern. So up here. So that would be balance. Let's do green. You know what? Let's go cross because you'll see this. You'll see the transparency. It's a little controlled here. As a C, you can still see your pencil drawing. That is here. Green needs to still jump across. Either a little dab. Ooh, let's use our Q-tip. Oh, it's been used on this side, so that's here. So let's see here. Let's pick this pattern. So I have used the alka. You know, I have used a broomstick and why a broomstick challenge, because there'll be time. Oh, my Q-tip took another dive. So cotton balled. Let's see which one. Let's use white. Do a little whitewash on top of our pencil. Try and see what happens. You did see that, right? It connected. I've always talked to kids when they asked me to do a demonstration for the kids and said they did cave paintings to communicate. Now we have phones, computers, and they use rocks to, and pigment, mixed pigment, maybe crushed a charcoal, make the black. Just, okay, dipped in my water. So now, okay. Starting to dry, which is good. I like that. Now, see what happens with the back. Oh, there we go. It dried parts of it. So, let's see. See what happens with this foil. Use maybe for tracks. Somebody walking across your canvas. And let's see what happens with it. So use like a stencil, make texture. You notice that the print disappeared, so that is good too. So let's use yellow. So let's mix in with the Q-tip. So by the end of this, my piece will be all muddy, which is good. And you just let that dry, step away. There's no rules to it. And go back and do another layer. So let's see. Starting to. So I'd like to give a body. It starts to speak with you, and you just go with it. When I came back from the Institute of American and Arts, my mom looked at my work and said, she never said anything. She just like smiled and said, "Déjeuner," and all that. And she never understood my abstract pieces. 3 years, 5 years later, she understand what was going on in there. So, I mean, a very traditional person, grew up with sheep, goats, and horses and ceremonies. It's okay. It's all right. They'll eventually have to understand. 2019, 11 horses came to me. They were just standing at my door asking me. They'll nod, they'll neigh, but who knew? They're communicators. They just needed water. And so I gave them water. 1 bucket. There was and I started, and I went and got some more water. So turned into 20 trips to the sink. And I watched one by one walk off. And I was like, wow. So I went on for a while, for like a week, month, and then I upgraded to a bigger container. And we were out here. They cracked their water. And so I have to upgrade it to a tub. So that hold off everybody. So, and so it's awesome to see because, I mean, these, you know, the Sioux called the horses the big dogs, and I always breed them, you know. So I always come out and say, I'm gonna feed my big dog. So you start to understand them as they go by like months. So this was 2019, now it's 2022. So I've gotten used to them. One will, there's always a spokesperson, you know, so you know, the newborns will go up to the door, you know, just look inside the hogan. So we'll let that dry and flip it over. So see, there was a print starting to disappear. So see the way, but we're gonna flip it over again. So see what's going on the other side. So there's always a spokesperson. I like that. Now I listen to them. It's like, what do they need? Water. They need hay. They just need a company. Wild thing is that they showed up. I mean, out of the blue, they were just standing asking for water. Hey, it's never been touched. It's used the blue. There. So, starting to take care of them now. 2020, we had the little one come in. That was awesome to see in the sheep crowd. We have now, we gave it that four-legged a name, so it's April. I was born on April, so April is always the spokesperson for everybody if we don't pay attention. So I think same way with the, you know, the cave paintings, you know, and stick figures. And then in that time, that's how they communicated. Again, still there, like it was just done yesterday. So I love doing this. Some people do it with words, you know, some people do it with paint, some do it with sculpture. And it's concrete versus abstract. It's okay. Eventually, they had to come over because we have cookies on the other side. So I'm doing layers, so let's go green, nope, blue, black.
These are the different textures you can create. With the foil, I created this one, and the sponge was used in these two. This was the paintbrush. These are all different textures you can create with all those items.
Awesome, Helen. Okay. Oh, yeah, we use this one. So, you know what? I'm going to leave this in there. That's what I'm going to do. sort of have a balanced rhythm, and you give a body and depth. So as you go along and put layers in it, sooner or later the patterns that you made before will start to come through your layers. That's the awesome part of it. So I'm going to leave that in there. One has to live there, another one has to go in. So I'm going to use my paint as a adhesive or glue. So there, so it's balanced. So I've got the black lined. So there's two islands. So they communicate, so it's not separate. Let's see what the result. So the print disappeared, so here you go. This is the back of the canvas. This is the front. So we're going to let that dry. Let's see.
I'm going to stop filming.
For letting us do this again. And the support is always good, and the reward is always good too. So I didn't do with the grid, so she went with the grid.
I went with the methodical approach.
Yes, and mine is just loose, so yeah. So keep doing what you're doing, and encourage people from young to old. It's fascinating, and how there's endless of materials that you could use. You can throw in like macaroni, rice, all of that stuff. So use crackers, crush. We forgot to grab a dirt, but it's okay. But we had fun, so. And I hope you liked it. Have fun with the small canvas. Thank you.